Hello, dear listener. Welcome to the first episode of the Relationships Podcast. I am Matthew Colombo, and I'm releasing this first episode in its raw form with no edits. And that is to capture the spontaneity and fun and non-linearity of Christopher and Mikyla's connection and my friendships with the both of them. So the official introduction starts at about 2 minutes if you want to skip to that. And I recommend you listen from the beginning to capture the non-linearity and fun of our connections. Thank you for listening and enjoy.
And it was like very heady and but also deep and rich.
Welcome to the Matthew. I think I'm just gonna call it the Relationships Podcast for now, which I'm sure is taken, but not with Matthew Colombo, with your host, Matthew Colombo.
Welcome to the Relationships Podcast with Matthew Colombo. Today we have two special people. One's name is Mikyla, and another's name is Christopher.
Yes.
Today we're here to talk about
Whether you have a pick in that guitar or not.
Okay, Matthew.
Are both mics are on? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So go. Maybe we'll start it. Ready? 3, 2.
Wait.
3, 2, 1.
Sorry, Cooper. Well, welcome you all to the very first episode of the Relationships Podcast. I have never been a podcast host before, so this is the first time. And here with my very good friends Christopher and Mikyla, and also Cooper, a very wise old Chihuahua who's sitting in my lap. And I'm creating this podcast because in this corner of the world that we live in, I find that kind of we're making up as we go along how relationships go because of maybe how they've been modeled or not modeled to us. And that's how I feel in my relationships too, that I'm often creating them. And so I want to share with the world how people are doing relationship, from the structural components of it to the beauty that people are creating and how they're doing it, and what is the juice in their relationship that keeps it going. So I'm going to do that thing of asking questions. Asking my two friends questions. And there's things that they may or may not want to answer. And there might be things that they do answer to me and then don't make it to the final cut. So I, being a very new podcast host, probably won't do a lot of editing, but I will take things out if need be. I encourage the both of you to be as open as you want, and to say no and to say yes to things. And as I told you both, I have a lot of questions, and we may get to 1 or 2 or 15 of them. And I am looking forward to emergence in our conversation of what the thing is that is to be talked about today. So I just...
Amazing. I'm excited.
Yeah, cool. I figured too we could just start with checking in about how we're feeling in the moment too, before we really get into a lot of questions, and I just talked a lot, so to give your voices both to the space too as well. And,
ladies first.
Oh well, thank you. You're such a kind man. I am feeling probably like an 8.7 on a scale of 10. I'm feeling just a little tired because I could just get a little bit of rest. But other than that, I'm feeling really, really excited about this conversation. And we've been in our own swirls of conversation about relationship and about what it means to be conscious in the way that you're choosing relationship a lot this weekend already. And so I'm excited to just continue that conversation with you.
Beautiful.
Thanks, love. Yeah, I'm feeling grounded, peaceful, rested, restful. Coming in around an 8.0. And I'm jazzed to connect and jam on this journey. I think it's so important to not know what it means to be in a relationship, aka to always choose to let go the projections and the beliefs of what makes a good relationship so that we can show up more fully present for the unfoldment of the relationship. Now, it's nuanced because we're going to talk about qualities and things that are experiences that naturally reflect certain aspects that you might want in a relationship or you might not want. But for me, the unknown is what makes this relationship possible.
The unknown
is what makes this relationship possible.
Nice.
Quote,
What?
put that on a shirt. No,
I wrote down unknown. I didn't write the rest of it.
And you, brother?
Yeah, so I'm feeling physically very hot. Just so y'all know, we're in a hot room because we're trying to have the sound be really good.
This podcast may get more exciting. Slowly, it'll be a strip podcast. As we go on each 15 minutes, one article of clothing will come off so that we can continue this conversation.
Yeah. And I am feeling really excited. I told Christopher and Mikyla before we started that I've been thinking about this podcast for years, actually, and I haven't had people in my life that I've wanted to interview, and so that's starting to happen, and so I feel really excited about doing this. A little bit scared about like being a good host of a podcast, and also just like, asking good questions and listening well and all of that. Other than that, feeling ready to go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So be fearless.
What's that?
Be fearless.
Impossible.
In your hosting.
Yes.
For we will embrace and lean in.
Sweet. And also, Christopher, you had brought up just the unknown, and then also like we're going to be talking about particulars and things, and so I don't know what I wanted to say about that. So anyways, there's so many places to start, and I think I do want to just start for the audience with something like, where did you all meet, and when? And how long have you been together for? How long would you say that you've been in a relationship for? And it would be interesting too, I think, to have you both answer and to see if it's matches. Or you
put the other person in the other room. And be like, wrong.
Mikyla has a really sweet smirk on her face right now.
Yeah.
Kind of like googly-eyed and teary-eyed and joyful. So, go ahead, babe.
Because it's sweet to think back to those first moments of seeing you. And I actually recently found a photo of us from the night on top of the parking garage where we played mantra music and stayed up as friends. Like he had come to one of my events. So a little backstory is I was a part of a business of two other women, and we were in the spiritual health and wellness kind of sector. We would do sound baths and retreats and international retreats, and we even did a couples retreat actually called a Sacred Union Retreat. But our sound baths would include Reiki and touch and acutonics with the tuning forks, as well as like the bowls in the ambient space. So it was a really beautiful thing because there was 3 of us getting to like really work on people. And Chris came to a couple of those events, and one of them was a day retreat, and it was a full day designed to not only help you connect with yourself and your spirituality, but to find community, so to find other people who were interested in that. And he wasn't in my group for the day, but we were there at the same time, and I was holding the container for another group, and so during breaks and things we had chatted and just we were sharing space, and that was the first time we met. It was actually at that event. Really got to chat. But I was engaged. So that's a little bit of the the whole dynamic, the whole picture, right? So I was engaged. My ex-fiance was actually at this event. And so when Chris and I met, it was much more of a friendship meeting, like a honoring of knowing the other person and honoring of being like, wow, this person's so incredible and beautiful. And I definitely felt attraction. Like there was an initial attraction, but I had a respectful relationship with that. Like I was able to put that into an appropriate dynamic and interact with him on a soul-to-soul level. Yeah. Did I miss anything?
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Tell us how you feel. When did you flutter? And but I can jump in.
How was that like part of the experience for you, or what was your sort of side of that?
Oh, it was rich. I mean, I was young spiritual man, excited to go to spiritual gathering and single and like, but also kind of arrogant,
ready to mingle with the goddesses.
Just genuinely just really like looking for connections, male and female and non-gendered, beings. And so it was lovely. I mean, I certainly had my awareness on just how to flow and connection and getting to be with you. For I think one improvised song moment perhaps was just a little taste of connection and and then just trusting in the flow. Certainly feeling attraction towards Mikyla as well, but honoring and respecting that journey. And then a couple of years went by. I thought of her 3 times in specific in which I acted on the impulse and sent a song that made me think of her. And it initiated a conversation that led us to meeting each other auspiciously, synchronistically at 5:30 in the morning at Spokane Airport, going to 2 different places.
But our flights were at the same time, on the same day. And we were like, this is perfect. We haven't seen each other in forever, and we're both somehow at the Spokane Airport at the same time. Like,
a couple of years later.
A breakup.
And a breakup. Both like in that time, the breakup happens. He also was in a relationship and breaks up.
In between.
In between, and breaks up with that person. So we've both come now to this moment, single and vastly different than the person that we had initially met a few years ago. Like a lot of growth had happened. What?
And I waited I waited to board my flight. I was the last person. And we reached out, two hands in two hands. I led us in a little prayer of gratitude and offering for safe travels, and then we were in love. We were absolutely in the state of love and trust and harmonious connection, not
Like,
grasping, not...
Yeah, it was like time floated away for a second, and we were just staring in each other's eyes, and like we both knew that our flights were like taking off and we needed to go, but like it also felt like it was okay to stay there a minute because somehow we were in this liminal space where time wasn't actually going to pass in the real world, and it was okay to just stay there in that moment. It was just so beautiful. It really was. It really was. But so we did part though, and he went to...
I went to Alaska. Yeah. She went to her destinations, and then we reconnected in October, which was another just like intimate thread of the story. Is that my aunt had gotten diagnosed with serious cancer, and my life trajectory changed. I was gonna go to China from Alaska, and then that shifted because I wanted to be around for her and the family. And so that's a whole nother like dimension of how does intimacy work in connection, what builds the strong bonds, and that absolutely was rocket fuel for connection for a lot of reasons, but we don't have to go into that right now.
You mean for the two of you? That was rocket fuel for that connection.
Oh yeah.
To walk together through grief.
Through grief and loss and a mother figure especially. That's a big reflection for me.
So that was like some of the early part of relating was during that time. Like
pretty much right.
That was right. Yeah, I just visited her, and her song started to come. Well, it did come just like a week before we hung out, Mikyla and I.
So we were singing Julie's song together, like pretty much regularly, and we would. And then as we started to travel together, because that was what the next season of our life went into, is we decided to travel, and we went to Hawaii and Alaska and then across the country to here. And we were singing that song everywhere with random people, with people all over the world. Like, I mean, US, I should say. Yeah, we really like sang it with a lot of different people, and it was really beautiful. Yeah, lifting the prayer up. And so, it was an emotional thing to go through together. To hold space for.
Yeah, and so that was the beginning of our intimacy, our romantic relationship at least. Was October, almost 2 years ago.
2 years ago. That was the next thing I was going to ask.
This October will be 2 years.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I have so many.
But I've known this old fart for 13
lifetimes.
13.
I've known you.
Beautiful. Yeah, I have. There's like more I want to ask almost about that grief time together, and also I have so many other questions. So I'm gonna try to stay on topic of your relationship, and maybe more of that we'll weave in at some point. And I also didn't mention that Mikyla and Christopher are two very good friends of mine. So just that, like, so I'm like, I imagine that at other interviews I will be interviewing people I probably know less, and so I'm interested. I'm just having a conversation with them, but I also appreciate this special space of being able to have this designated space where we're gathering and talking for this purpose. So I can see myself being tempted to like go down different rabbit holes, but also I want to stay true to some of what I want to give to our audience and all of that.
Absolutely.
And so I think I'll share a little bit of how I met the two of you first, because that leads into another question. Something's here. What is it? They're whispering on the other end of the table.
I know, I said I was engaged.
No, the other time.
You can say it out loud.
He's trying to catch me.
At the airport, we were not both single.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he wants to make it.
I'm just making it clear.
You're right. I was casually dating somebody in Seattle.
I see.
That you were
going
to visit.
Now, let me, hold on. Oh, shit. Yeah. No, we were in a honest polyamorous relationship. Like, we had entered into this being like, he was seeing other people, I was free to see other people, and so there was nothing like I was lying about.
Right.
There was no energy of shakiness. The thing that came out of that was I realized, oh, I'm just more monogamous. Because as soon as we started connecting, my entire hormonal, like, arousal just was like, to Christopher. Like, I just find him, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so aroused by you. I want to, like, I'm just so interested in you, right? Like, I couldn't hold both. So that was me being like, oh, okay, cool. That's just, like, where I'm at right now, you know? But just to make it known, like, I was allowed to be doing that at that time. I wasn't just being a hoe. What? You can beep it out.
In case any ex-partners are listening, you're just making sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's actually go there then. I'm not going to go where I was going because I do want to ask about not the hoe part. I want to ask about the structure of your relationship. Is that what you would use to describe it as monogamous? If you had to, because I am wanting to let like the listener know. Yeah, like how do you? Maybe you could answer that question, or like, what are some agreements that you all have in your relationship about how it's structured and what's inside the relationship and what's outside, or what's exclusive or what's not, and things like this.
Yeah. Romantically monogamous, sexually monogamous, emotionally open, meaning intimacy shared with all beings is
pretty deeply, like probably on that side. Very open to a degree that like causes a choice point where like there could be discomfort in the depth of emotion that we will allow, and that feels good, that we want to cultivate.
And the energetic intention there is really tuning in and taking responsibility for where that gray area of desire and longing starts to arise when it comes to intimacy. Like, let's say we get close, Matthew, and then all of a sudden I start to wonder, like, oh, maybe I want to be romantic with this man. He's beautiful. Then I get to, just really clearly own that within my being and communicate with Mikyla. We share in the...
And we have had physical attractions towards other people in which we've brought to each other in an arena of communication, right? Like, and I think that like being able to come to that space of not shaming it and being like, oh, the attraction really is a soul recognition of an excitement that there is something within the other soul that is so magnetic, that there is a mirrorship in some way. And then can we look at that from a place of awe and gratitude versus like grasping for the physical release of that, which comes through like erotic release usually. Like, is there another expression of that gratitude that we could explore?
It's poetic.
Yeah, really.
Wow.
Really.
Yeah, I'm in.
So that's something that you all will explore together sometimes, is like, so you'll bring, okay, say I'm attracted to X in this way, and so maybe some discussion around how can this manifest in a different way.
Yeah, I mean
what do you think?
You need to go potty.
You got something to say.
Yeah, which one do you think it is? His body's... So this is Cooper, Matthew.
Yeah, Cooper wanted to add something.
We let him off... Not let him. He often speaks
Yeah.
during our all the time interactions.
Yeah,
I mean, podcasts
he's
or
very
other times,
vocal. He
so,
has,
yeah.
It's usually like intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it really lies on the unsaid dimension of like personal ownership and responsibility, and then if it comes to a point where there is some sort of unresolved attraction or unresolved, like meaning unclear, then that can be navigated more. But let's say I'm close with another friend, I feel totally good. I know what's part of my relationship with this person, and I know it's not. And then if there's anything that brings up for Mikyla, then I will bring it, or she can, absolutely. But there's no real need to. I lean really on the side of like everything is all good. I just absolutely trust, because I trust who I am and my intentions.
Yes, I think we do lean heavily on our own moral compass. Just knowing that we can hold it with respect, the dynamic that we may have with someone else, knowing that we know how to love them without it becoming inappropriate.
That's beautiful. I have a follow-up to that, which is, I know for you had mentioned like this moment, well, maybe it's not the moment at the airport, but just like meeting Christopher changed your orientation to relationship in some way, maybe in a big way, actually. So I guess, for both of you, what is it that you might have this attraction to another, but the romantic and the sexual part are closed. So like, could you both speak to that? What is it about those things that you're wanting?
That's my favorite question.
Yeah.
I get my tears rolling for this.
I
love intimacy. I love unified consciousness. I love being willing to be in that surrendered state with anyone who's feeling open and willing, with the clear intentions of how we navigate that space. Because theoretically in surrender, anything could happen. But the reality is, if there's a clear guiding system within each of our beings, then anything can happen within those parameters, meaning no sex. So for me, it's this beautiful gift of just choosing to be in love with someone with that grounded awareness. And the reality is I want to escape. I want out. Like, I want to not feel this love with someone, and so I want to move towards sex, or I want to move towards some form of action that's going to relieve it, just like you mentioned, Mikyla. So
sex is actually like an easier out, I think, a lot
than
of
to
times.
cry, or than to poeticize, or to, so that's where creativity comes in. That's where, and that's the fine line of, is the other person available to go there?
Right.
And that's more of our conversation, is just about like, well, I feel good about this relationship, but I'm wondering about this person and how they're navigating their attraction towards you.
I see.
That's honestly the conversation we have more. It's not so much as like, oh, Chris, how you're presenting your energy. It's more, does the other person have the maturity, the self-awareness, and the self-containment to meet you in what you're open to? Because
we're shifting Cooper a little bit to bring him closer to the water. You think, or you think it's bad for him?
Sorry. I'm gonna go do a potty. You guys just keep on talking.
Yeah.
We can always pick it up. Pause it.
So there's that. what I was hearing there is this like sex in a space with someone. Intimacy can take many forms. Sex is off the table, and part of what you're doing in some of these relationships and dynamics is like, what sense do you have for what the other person can go? And so I imagine there's, I guess maybe some of how do you navigate that? Like how do you assess where the other person is? You know?
I stand on my left foot. I smile, and I imagine them in their loneliness. And the left foot's the joke, but I just tune into their energy and get it. You know, I mean, I don't make judgments. I just take guesses, and I'll ask for clarification from someone if they're open to it. Like, what are your intentions? So that's the very like real way of doing it, is just asking. And then there's the in between space, which is just breathing with someone and feeling, because I believe that falling in love is actually a parts journey, and we actually exist in love. So the fine line of like the soul is already in love, the human parts are falling in love, which implies that there is a necessary climbing out eventually to rise to the true state of love, which I mean it's kind of like semantics in a way.
No, I think that's really beautiful, because I also think that could speak so much to our journey, because falling in love, and then we went through some challenging moments, right? And then we kind of, I feel like, are now in a new space that feels almost like that climbing out space, where now we get to see love from a different perspective and choose love in a different way.
Yeah. And just bringing that full circle to your question, when someone falls in love or feels attracted to me, I'm just checking in with like this awareness that a lot of people really want to feel safe with a man. So do I offer that to them? Is that what they're in love with? Is just this maybe new experience for someone, like, oh, I feel safe with a man for the first time in my life. So then can I either bring that up directly or indirectly? You know, what do I do for you? What does being in this, and vice versa, I can say the same thing to someone. Hey, being with you really brings me a sense of expansive joy for being able to play together, or reflective presence.
I'm attracted to you because I view you as being super stable, and like for a feminine, like sometimes there's this desire to feel, you know, like taken care of, and like that guardian protector, and you know, so am I attracted to those elements of the masculine? Is that what I'm hyperfixating? You know, so just as it's really like, it's a lot of self-awareness, and then also being able to bring it to the other side, the other person who might, if you're having that dynamic with them.
Yeah. So it's definitely not as easy as it may sound or feel right now. We've had
doesn't sound that way to me.
Yeah, we've had plenty of challenges as far as like, you were hanging out with who? I'm kind of over dramatizing,
sure.
But just like, or I'm like, whoa, you know, you like him, don't you?
We do say that. like I'll be like, oh, blank. You already know what I'm saying in that tone. But like, we'll have like the person, we do like allow there to be a playfulness that is like recognizing that there's a flirty element to our being. And I think if we deny that though,
repression.
like that's, the repression is actually what will cause infidelity, I think.
And tension.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, so many directions, so many questions. Like I'm trying to think of which one I want to pick up on. I think, well, one of the things, so many things caught me in that part, but the one is, Mikyla, you had mentioned that there, and I mean, both of you were talking about the falling in love and then this climbing back out to it. And Mikyla, you said that recently you feel like that the climb has started. So what was the thing what's the shifting thing, or what shifted that has caused this?
What's that face
The
for?
distinction between the falling and then the climbing to this other love that you described.
Well, I think it's happened like many times over. You know, like I look at it like a watercolor painting where there's many rolling hills. You know, you kind of reach the top and then you fall back down, and you reach the top and you fall back down. And that is love, like over and over and over again. Like you're meeting a new person every single day. You're new, they're new, and you're choosing to love each other. And it's a fucking miracle every single day that you love them. Like it's actually a miracle that your paths are aligned enough every single day. So we're turning back to that all the time. But to get to your question, reiterate it one more time.
Oh, it was just I heard you say that there was this falling in love period, and I want to also get to that parts work thing later, because that is fascinating to me. Then also, but you said that recently you feel like the climb to instead of the falling, there's sort of climbing to this other love. That's not the falling love.
Yeah, well, Chris recently took 2 months on a travel trip, and that was powerful to have that much time apart. I think that was a really big part of our shifting and growing. For what he was growing and experiencing through, and then my own experience with that, and then we wrote letters to each other every single day while we were apart, and then we traded, and that has been very powerful to hear the other person's inner world and to connect in that way, and then bringing that knowledge of self and then knowledge of the inner world of the other to this new frontier where we are meeting. It feels like that climbing out a new space for me, because I'm not in love with him in the same way, because I know him in a new way. I think
a lot through the apartness and the letters, like kind of those two things.
I do think those helped a lot. Like as shitty as that sounds, maybe the apartness, because like it's not maybe an enjoyable, like it's not comfortable. Like it wasn't comfortable to be apart, for sure. Like I missed him, obviously, but I do think that was what was needed at the time for him, for our relationship. I think there's a lot of growth that happened from that, and I do really think that the letters were so beneficial. His grandparents actually write to each other every night, right? Yeah, they write a letter to each other every night.
How many years? They have been married for 65 years.
Wow.
And how sweet is that? And so we got this idea from that. Like that was our inspiration, was Nana and Papa, they do this letter thing, and he was going on this pilgrimage with Nana and Papa. So I was like, why don't we try that? Like, why don't we write a letter to each other every day or whatever?
What's
you can't.
that?
Clarification. I think we were both inspired to write letters.
Yeah. Chris might have been the one who wanted to write letters. I'll give him that. I memory is a funny thing. We like to remember. And that's also the thing. No, real quick, before we get to your next question. Really, honestly, being in a relationship, I think that if somebody can realize that your memory is not true, that could actually save your relationship, because our memory is only actually partially true all the time. And so when you're in these battles of what was right, was it your version or was it my version, the more you can just be it doesn't actually matter, when it doesn't matter, that I think will save a relationship versus the just gripping onto your storyline for what? I think that we both do a really good job of like just being like, that's funny, I have a different version, and then we kind of like laugh, and like maybe we still kind of think that we might still be right, you know, we're not fully like enlightened beings, but we do kind of look at each other like, wow, that's funny, we think about this differently, you know. What are you looking at?
Just looking at my hand. I also on that thread, losing my train of thought here. The thread of what happened in the apartness, and if I may add in part to your question about like the catalyst and the falling in love,
and
which just I mean the breaking it down without going into it, the parts that fall in love, the inner child, the teenager, the aspects of myself that are like, oh, I'm finally safe with the person, I finally feel available to receive the love because I'm projecting that they will do everything for me. And then that's a really fascinating thing, to come home to the reality that no one's doing anything for me, they're just reflecting and holding the space for me to come to that insight on my own, which is what I believe happened in our 2 months apart, in our time in part, was that we were coming to know the aspects of ourselves that were projecting the desire to be loved by each other onto each other, aka there's a part of me that wants to be nurtured in a certain way, maybe manifests in the form of loneliness, projects that, oh, Mikyla does that for me, and now I'm apart and I see, oh, it's actually not Mikyla, it's a quality within myself that I can cultivate. And Mikyla is a really beautiful reflection for it, and that's one thing that I love about getting to relate with her, and I don't expect it from her. And therefore that leaves me open again to the unknown of our relationship rather than the fixed desire of our relationship.
That time apart, and seeing that and you having that reflection, Christopher, it's like you choose this though, you choose Mikyla.
Because the love becomes more pure, and that's what I mean by returning to this true state of love, because it's no longer my parts that are seeking something to be fulfilled by her. Instead, I am already fulfilled, and now I just get to enjoy the cherry on top, or the mesmerizing qualities of what does it mean to co-create with another sovereign being, consciously choosing to enjoy the fire of our union. Fire meaning the transformational potential of starting an orphanage, or creating a couples retreat, or working on preconception modules that can support couples into stepping into parenthood, or creating a sexy cookbook.
And
drippy.
yeah, whoever is editing this, put in like a little song, you know.
Who needs to edit in a song?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
make it.
Exactly.
Midnight snack.
I have sort of a follow-up, and also just wondering if there's any threads from that either of you wanted to continue on, because there are so many actually.
I loved one of them.
What did you
But I'll come back to it.
You'll remember it?
Yeah, it's always in me.
It's always in me.
Well, this is a question that I have for the listener. I have like 25 or 30 questions in front of me written down on paper.
How will you ever decide, Matthew?
Well, no, it's actually been very easy, and I've
cool.
barely looked at the papers, because what you all have been talking about has just been weaving in I have specific questions that I wanted to ask you all, and then I just have sort of generic questions that I would ask anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And I haven't had to look at them because they are in my mind and they just come in here and there. So this one in particular has to do with this parts thing, which I don't know, there's like parts work, which is like a therapeutic discipline of like internal family systems and this thing, and then there's some parts that you mentioned of the child and the teenager and all of these parts. And this question is sort of maybe, I don't know if it will be edgy for you all or not, but it's edgy for me to ask because it's a little bit of it's a conversation that I had with Mikyla. And I was talking with Mikyla because I was having, it was the day that I was here with both of you when I received a phone call about a story that exists about me somewhere out in the world. And the context is a little bit that, I'll just ask the question. So Mikyla, you had mentioned that there have been times when the way either that Chris has expressed a part of himself or that was scary to you. I don't know if you remember this, like this coming up in our conversation, but that you felt like fear of something that came up. And so like that's sort of like a specific question and a general question of like, on the real human plane, like when fear comes up or you're like, I don't know, maybe even the question that I've had before, like, do I really even know this person? Like, is, like when that type of stuff comes up, how does that go for you? Like, where do you all go from there?
That's such a good question.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go first. Okay. Well, I was really speaking to. Okay. So, Chris and I intentionally have created spaces or moments where we really allow for the sides of ourselves that we would normally repress or not show to other people to come out. And I also have just kind of, expressively vomited in certain instances as well. I can own that there's been moments where it wasn't super held, that I was going into that, and I shouldn't have been, more so than him, to be honest. And so the instance that I was talking about was we were in Alaska and we were both really, really sick. And Chris had been carrying a lot of congestion in his chest. And he asked me to sit on top of him. And we were entering into this like breathwork synchronized activation state, right? And then the heaviness, the stories, the pain, the suffering, the generational suffering, something that's beyond what his life had ever even experienced, that was stagnant in the chest, was starting to come out. And so while I could recognize that mannerisms or those like noises or whatever that was coming out, because I also have the background of body work, right? So I understand the concept of that. Like it still just was like almost alarming to witness that coming from the person that you're in a relationship with, that you're loving, right? And I think like, because if you're a practitioner and you're doing it with someone, you're like, it's a different role, like you're just like expecting it, right? And even though we were going into that, there was a layer that I wasn't prepared for, that then I had to like tend to myself to recognize like, oh, this was a moment of holding space. And really this relationship has taught me so much, like what does it actually mean to like hold space for somebody and not need to change their experience and just be there with them through that experience. I don't think in any other relationship thus far have I been given that gift quite like this relationship. Most of the time the expectation is to fix or we just had no guidelines at all. So I think that's what I was speaking about, was just that feeling of like really where the fear also came was just what arose in me, like my own the lack of control and then the desire to control. So when somebody's experiencing something uncomfortable, how quickly my initial reaction is to run in and to want to fix. And how that energy is actually suffocating to a relationship, because it doesn't give them a chance to learn. Like when a child falls down, we really shouldn't, past about 9 months to 15 months, between that age, depending upon the development of the child, right? But like at a certain moment, they fall and we don't run to fix it. Like we just witness. And it's like kind of that experience, like as in a relationship, and and being like, you're just okay with how it is. And I've really learned that a lot.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, the holding space, the not fixing, and yeah, being able to be with something that might be scary. Yeah, how do you, yeah, I guess two questions come up. Like, how did you, also Christopher would want to hear from you about that experience, about anything if you want to share, and then also for Mikyla, like, how do you tend to yourself in that situation? And or other situations where something like this has come up, or there's big emotions, like how do you find that support in each other and or in other people, when things might be happening that are big? So a few different questions there, but go where you will with it.
Do you want to respond to it first?
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. So how I find, like,
yeah, like how, so that fear comes up of, I should fix this, and or I'm just like hearing or experiencing things from this person that I'm like,
new.
Yeah, it's like
a new. I try to remind myself that like we are multifaceted beings, and that really we're only getting a few facets of a human being all the time. And just because somebody expresses something in a moment doesn't mean that they're always going to act upon it, and that's going to always be the way that they're going to live. Like oftentimes we actually just need outlets to express and let things like have space, and then that's not really what our truest nature would choose to act on. So that's helpful. And then finding just a lot of compassion and just really seeing the mirrorship in my own life, like where am I, how can I relate to this, like what kind of suffering do I feel, or where have I felt this way, and really creating like deep empathy and compassion for the other is where I go as well. And then in this instance there was no external support, but I think that obviously like I'm a big believer in external support from like friends and community, so there could be an instance where if you're dealing with a partnership that somebody has depression or something like that, like it may be very helpful to have friends and support that you could share these experiences with and be able to express through that with as well, because this instance was very contained in like we brought it through kind of the arc of the whole experience from beginning to end, kind of all in one experience. But something that is like long, I kind of anticipated like needing more support through, right? Because it's like we're strong in like a short little spurt, right? But it's like when somebody's dealing with like a long-term illness or long-term mental illness, like I think that having community and friend support is even more important.
it's just really for me beautiful to hear about this this ability to hold something as not, I'm just imagining this situation of Christopher, of Mikyla sitting on Christopher's chest, and he's yelling and making noises and is saying whatever, I don't know, doesn't need to be said, but just that, like, situations like that in that situation, and like, it being possible in this world we live in where something is good or something is bad, that something bad comes up and something bad, I'm using air quotes, comes up, and there's just like this, it ends the relationship, or it causes a huge rift in the relationship. And so for me, it's just beautiful to hear when people are able to hold these facets and these parts that come up.
I think it for me, a great realization is just that, like, if you choose to not face something that's coming up in a relationship, it's not going to go away. It's going to come up in the next relationship. And so it might not be the right moment because maybe you and that partner don't have the maturity and the tools to be able to do it. But I feel incredibly grateful to be in this partnership because we come to it with so many tools that I'm like, let's go. Like, let's explore reaching those new, like, healing spaces together because he's interested in doing it and I'm interested in doing that willingness. Like, when you have someone who's willing, like, wow. That's a gift.
Yeah, absolutely. I realized I set no time container for this, so I'm really enjoying the conversation. I think I'm just going to glance at this and see how long we've been going.
My guess is
about an hour.
54.
57.
Wow.
How many seconds? I think I was right closer than she was.
I can't remember.
I want to hear your take on this.
Yeah. Is there anything that you want to say?
What comes to mind is the layers of love and the layers of relationship and that all dimensions of the being are included. And it's not certainly something we would talk about in fullness right now, but as far as this conversation on, I think of dysregulation and the navigation of things that are said that maybe aren't meant to be meaningful, but have impact. And so my experience, though I'm not fully remembering your original question, I'll just riff on it, and then
go for it.
If it's not relevant, you can say nay.
Stop the show.
Mikyla will sometimes process in a very rambly, stream of conscious conversation type way, and she'll say some things that I take more to heart than she wants me to, because she's
I'm just
releasing.
And
I'm like, whoa, is this a danger to like our journey together? Meaning, and that's that nuanced place of how is this impacting me? What am I doing with this information? AKA, am I digesting it or am I avoiding it? And then how am I relating with you, Mikyla, on this? So let's say she's like, man, I had such a stressful morning. I want to quit my job and I'm going to become a monk. And I'm like,
the funny thing is you guys, like, I have said.
I mean,
so it's like,
we're going on number 11, I think. I've been tallying them. I think
of monk statements?
Monk statements, yeah. I think I should
monk statements up to 11.
Yeah.
She's monk X to the 11th.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm familiar with this, right? Like, okay, but I'm also not going to disrespect her by by not acting like it's genuine. So then how do I both hold that she's being absolutely genuine while also holding the awareness that she's also processing her shit right now? I love you for your desire to be a monk. And I love you for the fact that you are super dysregulated right now and overwhelmed by this life circumstance. And then also, I'm like, wait, like, dysregulated by this, now I feel fear, which is, I think, your original question around fear or bringing up something for me when someone else behaves a certain way. And so that's where I have grown a lot. And I've also been very clear, learned to be more clear with Mikyla, that I will say, like, yo, this is not cool. Like, this is really disruptive to my ability to be passionately, intimately interweaving with you, you know, in this committed way that we're speaking of. And then also, this is something that's coming up and just more gentle, not like a firm boundary, but just
it
more
depends on said thing.
Yeah, I mean,
because you're not laughing during this, Mikyla. You're laughing now, reflecting on this. But when this is happening, you're like, I'm gonna be a monk, and like it's not really funny. Like you're kind of
it's
going
not
down
funny
this
at
thing.
all.
Yeah, exactly.
But like why I'm laughing is because it's so easy to see the drama. Like I just can go from 0 to 1,000 in the drama scale. But I mean, it's a beautiful characteristic about me in other ways. Like I go from 0 to 1,000 on a lot of things, on a lot of categories. And it can be really fun and exciting in some, but in this certain category, it's very dysregulating for a partner because I'm going from, oh, everything's great in our life to like, I need to move to be a monk.
So something interesting on that vein is, I initially reflected that, I'm probably more over-contained with my emotions and my processing, and she may be leaning more towards the under-contained, like accidentally processing something at a time that is not fitting or in a way that is actually more disruptive to our sense of union, and not that it doesn't eventually become compost for a greater nourishment for our garden, but it can be disruptive to the current that we're in. And so like when I say over-contained, I can allow my valve to open a little bit more and spill the beans or process a little bit more chaotically, which is a little bit of what I think is really fascinating about relationships and containers, and this idea of like, we are now going to work on our shadows, and we're now going to be light and loving and ohm our way into awakening, and then we shall cook with accents, and then we shall make love in, you know, and all these different things that are just such a subtly controlling thing to do in life, in relationship. Containers are great, but life is much better lived when it's just in the container of the universal flow, which is, I mean, it's a vast, endless void of beauty.
Yes.
How could we possibly say no to it? But our fears do. So that's why I think it's really fun to just tune into the dynamics that play out, and ultimately for us, what's rippled into our life is, we feel an attraction and an insecurity and a confusion as to how to navigate something. Well, fuck, let's talk in a bit crazy, and you know.
Let's make a skit about it. And let's show like Mila. She's so horny all the time. Why is she always looking at the man in the grocery store? And then this person, you cannot be like so mad. You have to be like, that girl, she crazy, you know. Like for some reason, just adding that layer. It sounds crazy, but adding that layer.
It doesn't sound crazy.
Right. Okay. Thank you. He always helps me not call myself crazy.
Because bringing it full circle back to that moment in Alaska, I'm on the edge of insanity. I have family who have had psychotic breaks, who have struggled with schizophrenia, and I'm just allowing myself to enter this liminal space where nothing's holding me anymore. And I am, except for the thread of connection with Mikyla and the awareness that if I go fully quote unquote bonkers, then I probably won't be able to stay at my friend's house anymore. And so that beautiful thing where we can look at each other, our partners, our friends, even, you know, our community members, and say, anything you do, you're not crazy. You're not insane. You are actually more sane because you're revealing this to me. And so that's what happened in that experience.
Wow.
However, that's really risky because it also means that when I'm witnessing her quote unquote fringe behavior, I'm also tuning into like, oh my gosh, I'm scared because I've never seen this before. But I'm not, because I'm just like, oh, I love what I'm noticing within myself. Can I still be present with you? Can I still navigate this space? And so you alluded to that a bit and spoke to that a bit earlier, which was really cool.
Yeah. I really appreciate how you wrapped that up, though.
Didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
just wanted to
it was
bring
really
that
wonderful.
back.
I really appreciated how you wrapped it up and how you brought it back to how we relate to authenticity and really trust with all people. And I think it was just really beautiful how you wrapped it up. So thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and it brought in another piece, which was actually the first question I was going to ask. Before you mentioned monogamy, about like how you realized you're more monogamous being with Christopher, I was going to ask, because the way that I met you both was at our friend Lily's house when she lived in that larger house with other people before she lived with Amy. And I remember talking with you in the kitchen, and you were telling me how improv is a part of the way that you all, you know, taking on these accents or these characters is a part of the way that you work through things. And I just thought that was so cool, especially having fairly recently like come out of a relationship and just like being blindsided by some things that happened. And so I'm happy that you all did a little bit of that here for the audience, just as your two characters.
Naturally, I mean, they came out a couple times. We have different characters, and I will be honest that like there are still times when the storyline of human struggle is so strong within me that I forget the tool.
Sure.
You know, so it's like I can get wrapped up in the like, oh, woe, it's me and my life is so hard, and then I'm like forgetting that I have this tool that could really help pierce through the cloudedness.
Yeah, and on the improv sticker, you know, there's a little warning that says, don't try this at home unless you have radical responsibility for your personal well-being included, as well as a discernment system that allows you to notice that this person actually needs my really genuine, gentle self versus my playful, loving, genuine self, which is
so
it's good.
Nuance,
It's good.
And you learn it's another form of language. Like play becomes another form of language. Like touch and like communication, play becomes another way to connect, and you have to read the other person. Are they coming to play with this like silly, laughy, giggly space, or are they coming to play for a sense of an emotional expression that's much richer and more complex, and your humor would actually not support that. Like, you know, because play is not always like laughy, right? So
that's the best part of play, is if we can play with the tears. My goodness. Somberto.
Yes.
I know your parents wanted to name you something.
Yes.
Not just something, but a specific thing.
A specific Berto.
A specific Berto. And it makes a tear in my eye, because why?
They had to just line
I love you. It's Alberto, no? Please.
Oh.
Reclaim your name. You choose. You choose your life.
So if you can play in relationship relationship with the tearful, rageful aspects of life, my humble opinion is that you are set up for quite a powerful unity, because the laughter and the joy will come from the integration. Now, if you're actually staying stuck in the rage or the tears, then of course there's some other dimension to be present to, but I don't find that to be the case once we play animal wrestling or something.
Yeah, animal wrestling is a good one.
Yeah, it's like if there's some rawness.
Yeah.
Anyways, bring us back.
Yeah, it's all good. Just to give a little context of Somberto, I've been adopted into the Italian family that three
Mikyla.
have. We have Mikyla, and then
Nico.
Chris, Nico, and then Amy, our friend Amy.
Francesca.
And Cooper is Nico, like Junior. Like
Nico. And I recently became Somberto because we didn't know if I was Roberto or somebody else. Alberto. So I said my parents called me Somberto because they couldn't decide. I just got Somberto. Yeah, I mean, I think that I kind of knew that I would want to have you all back on again some other time, because I mean, I have questions about sex and questions about money, and I mean, we've gone into some of like the emotional parts of your relationship and the relationship dynamics, how you're collaborating, which I heard several things in there about. I know you all have wanted to do like couples retreats, but you mentioned a bunch of other stuff, and I would love to talk so much more about those things.
We're coming back onto the podcast 2.0.
Definitely, yeah, and I'm just wondering, like, there's nothing in my mind or in my being right now, in terms of like anything else that I want to ask in particular. Well, there is one thing actually. Christopher's picking up his guitar, which is great. A wonderful improviser of music, and I think it was really just closing this piece about maybe containment or containers and sort of your warning label on, for example, the improv, like, you know, don't go into this unless you're able to really read the other person, or it's appropriate, or you're saying, oh, we're doing this now, or, you know, maybe that's something to tell people is like, but anyways, yeah, anything to say about, because you had mentioned, Christopher, about like saying, okay, now we're going to this shadow play, and now we're doing some improv, and now we're cooking dinner, and now we're making love. I didn't know if you were speaking to like, that is a way that you all do it, that you'll kind of be like, okay, we're moving to this space now. Or are you at a place where those things do flow more naturally? Or I guess, anything for the listener about how maybe to, and of course only with appropriate tools go into these particular things.
Absolutely.
But like, anything either of you all have to say about that.
Yeah, the gift comes from the awareness that we are undercultivated in X category, aka our relationship seems to really lack this lighthearted, joyful connection. So we're gonna create a system for a month. This is my personal way, because it really helps me. So we'll do this once a week for a month, and then we're gonna just let it go, because if we stay in container mode for 6 months or a year or the rest of our life, then we're just imprisoned to that method, aka like if we just meditate every morning forever, then that might be great and it might work.
But your attachment is to the thing instead of to the connection itself.
Yeah.
You think that you created connection because you meditated, not that you just are connection. You know, so it's like you almost have to have the tool, and then you have to let go of the tool. So you use the tool enough to like remember, right?
And sometimes it goes the other way, where it's intentionally or explicitly not a contained thing, but just something that we just allow to emerge. And we don't need to work on it over time. We don't need to cultivate it. We can just enjoy how it comes into our existence. And that's, I think, just such a good thing for what is my motivation for my behavior? What is my motivation? Because the topic that I wanted to come back to way back was that you mentioned saving the relationship, and there's a fascinating nuanced dimension to the word saving, because like, what are we saving? Are we saving an inauthentic, disconnected relationship, or are we saving the seeds of possibility? And it's just a little frame that
And are you and the person saving the same thing?
Right, yeah.
Because I think like one person can see the seeds of possibility, so that's what they're trying to save, right? But the other person doesn't even see those seeds, and then misaligned.
Yeah. So, yeah, I kind of poke fun at containers because of my over-contained nature, like, or nurture. I mean, I've kind of been conditioned that way. And Italian culture is really beautiful in its relative stereotype and its relative truth, that they just express themselves, you know? And part of why, just sharing more with the audience, part of why our cultivation of these characters, who are seemingly an Italian family, though Italians may not agree.
Right. It's not meant to be offensive.
To us, there is a cultivation that's happening through these characters. We are now feeling safer, in my humble opinion. I am feeling safer to express what is on my heart immediately, rather than waiting, which is sometimes very wise, and other times absolutely stupid and a waste of time and energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
When you feel
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go. I was just gonna say, when we feel complete, I'd love to share a little song.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that I think, for the listeners to kind of wrap up where my thoughts are from episode 1 together.
Yeah, really.
Dial it back on in, like what I would want, what I hope they take away from it, from what I've shared, would be that improv can be a wonderful tool to express the sides of your relationship or the sides of yourself, the things that you would normally suppress and not share, in a way that you have a expressive platform stage to share it. And that actually will release some of the snarky pressure, like those things where you're like, oh, I wish you would do the dishes, or I wish you would, like, we have those things all the time, like, we're humans, like, it's just there. But then if, like, we can make it more, like, dramatic and just enjoy the comedy of it, that makes it less like, would you really do that? And there's like an actual disgust and like a disrespect, like a true tone of that in there. If we can really make it more of the character, I've found that we're able to stay in a respect for the actual person, because it's not a person to person, it's now become character. Like, do you get what you're saying? So like, you've kind of personified this part of you that instead of being all of you, yes, like the lazy one, like we're not our whole being is not the lazy one who doesn't do the dishes, right? But there is an aspect of all of us who's lazy and doesn't do the dishes, So it's like, if that person gets a character and then my character speaks to that character versus like the full being, I think that's then the respect and the, like, seeing that person through your heart is not fragmented or disrupted, because you're able to have space for the release of the tension that might come from just being human with another human being.
Well said.
Yeah. Thanks.
And I want to add the disclaimer to that as well is
only if you speak really fast, like prescription to scrimp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Warning, this may cause excessive hair bleeding. I mean,
Hair. That.
Yeah,
That's powerful.
I've never heard that one. I like that.
Yeah.
it just came out.
Yeah. It's really important to also be attentive to the deeper roots of the patterns.
Of course.
So if we're always just playing,
Yes.
Yeah.
then
Yeah,
with
yeah.
these feelings and these and they're working, they're releasing pressure, but they still keep coming up. Then what the fuck?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
The beep that out. No, but honestly, yeah, I forget to say that, and that's really.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. I mean, there's no reason to live with the pressure and the fear of not doing the dishes for the rest of our lives.
Like, it's a waste.
But we don't have to dig it all out right now.
In day one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or even in the first 3 years or the first 10. But
Right.
as long as there's less and less, then that means there's more and more space.
Mm-hmm.
It's powerful. I mean, it's a very data-oriented type experience. You see here on the map of relationship, yes, and please.
No, I mean what I'm catching, I think I might have missed a couple of pieces, but just like don't use improvisational characters as a way to like if there's a pattern that's coming up about something, you know, in the simple example of doing, not simple, but the example of doing dishes or something, like don't use improv as a way to bypass that there's something coming up that needs to be addressed, but it has a place.
Like I was a kid and my parents put a lot of pressure on me doing the dishes, and so I used to do them with a very tight butt. And then now I have a partner who gets on me about the dishes, and I feel so sensitive about doing the dishes. I think it's important that I actually talk to her about that, rather than just make a joke.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's
a
the whole thing in
discernment. Is
itself,
like, are we using improv and play for growth and expansion, or is it another way we're hiding and avoiding? And that's not what we want. It's
No,
hiding.
I would say no. Yeah, especially because you two are so good.
Yeah, we're just. I mean, basically perfect. That's why we were first. That's why we were first on your show.
This is a perfect, I think, place to close like this part of the conversation. No, really, and like the song for sure too. But just that's like that feels like a really good just close to that of like use this as a tool and use it in a way that is life-giving to your relationship, not in a way that is gonna bypass bigger things that are happening or things that are being acknowledged or paid attention to. So,
Beautiful.
Just I think there's so many more things, like I said, that I want to ask about, but that's for another time. I'm getting pretty hungry. The 4 of us are gonna have dinner together. Yeah. Cooper too. I brought some of that bone broth rice that I know
like
that
that.
really
Like that. Bro's gonna like that.
Yeah.
And we're also in a sauna sweat too, so it's been quite the dedication for this episode, but we did it.
Yeah, but thank you all so much. It was amazing. Best first podcast experience.
Woo!
Because it really, like I said, I have these 2 sheets in front of me. There were so many questions, and I think we touched on a lot of the things.
Yeah.
Except for all the things we didn't. Sex, money.
Drugs. I'm just kidding. But like sex, drugs, and money seems like something you would say.
I want to know more about what type of collaborations you all have brewing, for things that you want to do, and that's just for another time. It's another hour or more
episode
conversation.
And we'll just plug that if you're interested in our dynamic and some of the modes that we engage in relating and support people in their relationships, check us out on TikTok. And we're really passionate about preconception. So what does it mean to actually prepare for a year before getting pregnant, before actually stepping into that journey? And there's so many different ways, and we love the way we're doing it. So we're doing it.
Are you serious about the TikTok thing?
Yeah, really.
Well, what do people look for?
I think we're gonna go with Mick and Moon.
I think it's Mick and Moon.
Okay.
This is all new,
Yeah.
and we're just, we're entering into our preconception time, and so now we're just like, we're gonna share that journey with people. Like, we're just gonna share what it's like. We're gonna talk about what we're eating. We're gonna talk about the rituals that we're doing. We're gonna talk about the movement that we're doing. I'm gonna talk about like the cycles and what I'm gonna be eating differently to make my fertility stronger, make his fertility healthy. Like, we're drinking okra water. You just had some. Yeah. The sperm water. So, like, if you want to learn about sperm water, make sure you follow along.
Amazing. We didn't even touch on the birth thing, and that's really something I wanted to talk about.
We'll get there.
So great.
Thank you, Matthew.
Matthew. I feel honored.
Yeah. It's just like the container thing too. It's like, I appreciate this container that we made because we talked about things that we may have not otherwise talked about.
Right.
So I'm with you on like the wanting to flow through things and not always have containers, and they're just so beautiful and powerful sometimes too, because it creates, the space creates what then comes up in that space. So
absolutely.
You're welcome, and thank you all so much too.
And without further ado, a short tune for you, if you are still listening. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. I've got a question for you. Hey, baby. I've got a question for you. What is it like? What is it? What is it like? What is it? What is it like? What is it like to be an angel? There's so many things that I could say about the dreams that you bring to my life. We play, we dream and sing. We love to be one with everything. We listen and we dance with it all. So I know that I've got to call on my angel. Let my fears fall so we can sway into the formless beauty. What is it like? What is it like? What is it like to be an angel?
I just whispered beautiful really quiet.
And that will be on our couples album coming out in the next 10 years.
Yeah. I hope it'll only be one or less.
Yeah.
Lots of projects.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah.